Have you seen this image before? What about this one? Or even this one? These are known as cursed images and have become popular on the internet for striking a person's curiosity. I mean, what's the purpose of this image? Well, I'll be talking about its origins and many others in this video. In March of 2019, a Tumblr user posted a photo of a train with the caption, Poughkeepsie, March 9th, 2019. At first glance, it looks to be pretty normal, but if we zoom in into the image, you can see the word sluts with Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, let's get an even better shot. This necessarily wouldn't be the first time the train has been spotted, as other pictures of the train were uploaded onto Reddit. It was then known that this train was traveling across different states, and more information would soon be revealed by a BNet user named Brian Feldman, who wrote a whole article about the Sonic train. Brian found an image of the train when it was traveling through Houston in November 2018. This train had a visual ID number, and when he plugged the numbers into an online archive of pictures of individual train cars, Brian was able to figure out that the train belonged to the Union Pacific Railroad Company. Not only that, but other locations of where the train had traveled were revealed. The earliest photo of the S.L.U.T.S train was from 2015 in Ellesmere, Delaware. However, the opposite side of it was shown instead. While more investigations carried on, another S.L.U.T.S train was posted onto Flickr, but this time, it consisted of graffiti artwork from the movie The Mask. As it turned out, the group behind this artwork is known as the S.L.U.T.S crew, and they are based in Southern California. You can find some older videos on YouTube in which they show some of their former artwork. However, other than that, little information surrounding the crew is available online. But with that out of the way, my favorite piece of theirs has to be the Hellraiser one. Let me know in the comments on which one you guys like the most. This eerie looking sculpture originates in Bilbao, Spain, and was created by Mexican hyperrealist artist named Ruben Orozco, who collaborated with another artist, Clara Davalos. This creation is part of a campaign with the BPK Foundation, which is the charitable arm of Spanish lender Bank. In the Nervion River in Bilbao, the statue can be seen drowning and barely keeping afloat, and there's a reason behind this. According to the BPK Foundation, who's responsible for funding the statue, the purpose of the campaign is to encourage debate around sustainability. Ruben Orozco has also added on that the statue has been given a name, Bahar. The reasoning behind the name and why the statue can be seen submerged in a river, as explained by Ruben, is because it's a future reflection on what could happen if we make the wrong environmental sustainable decisions. With each decision we make, we choose whether to sink or float. Ruben's artwork has always had some significance regarding social dilemma, and this sculpture wasn't the first one that would catch widespread attention, as back in 2019, Ruben yet again collaborated with the BPK Foundation to create a sculpture of an elderly woman sitting on a bench, with the purpose of raising awareness on elderly people's loneliness. This meme of a deer that seems to be being interviewed was popular back in 2017. What seemed to be just another edited photo turned out to be real. It didn't take that long for others to find the original source, as it was from an Estonian news network named TV3. The news network website that had the story was then found and more information resurfaced. The headline roughly translated to this: a lovely story. A brave roe deer strolled into a backyard and befriended a dog. A small description of the interview was also provided, with it stating that a few days ago, a roe deer came into a family's yard in Järva County and didn't even think about going back into the forest. A YouTube video of the story was then posted. It's entirely in Estonian, but thankfully, someone was able to fully translate it into English. In the beginning, the narrator mentions how it's quite rare for a roe deer to be seen out in the public, since they tend to stay in the forest. But unexpectedly, this is what happened in the village of Alasti, Järvamaa, where the roe deer visited a family's door. The homeowner explained that the deer was spotted in a field near his house after he was replacing his dog's old collar chain. The man would approach the deer, but this only caused it to back it up a bit. Surprisingly, when the man was making his way back home, the deer continued to follow him. It had been a couple days and the deer was still seen walking outside the house. The family didn't mind the deer's presence, nor did the dog either, as the man stated that when he would let the dog outside to run around, the dog would play with the deer. Due to such a rare occurrence, the man called his younger brother and was like, "Hey, there's a deer outside my house who's been chilling for the past couple days." The brother didn't believe him at first, and so when he went over, he was in complete shock that the deer was actually there. He even jokingly said that he should keep the deer as a pet if he stays for any longer. While this was all happening, the family offered the deer food such as potato peelings, cabbage leaves, carrots, and so on. But the only thing the deer was interested in were the branches and leaves from the family's spruce tree. It was up till this point that no one knew whether or not the deer was gonna leave or not, so the reporter decided to get an answer for himself by asking the deer where he came from. So yes, this image that was believed to be fake was an actual news story that aired on live TV in Estonia. In the competitive market of fast food restaurants and the culinary field, there's bound to be some knockoff fast food chains of well-known companies and other things. Let me explain. In America, there's a Burger King, while in Iraq, they have Burger Friends. Growing up, Finding Nemo was one of my favorite movies, but I would have never guessed that a restaurant named Frying Nemo existed in Yorkshire, England. In my country, Canada, we have a Tim Hortons, but in Seoul, South Korea, they have a Tim's House. I could keep going, but as you can tell, there's a bunch of knockoff restaurants that are still up and running till this day. But with this being said, there are some that have dealt with legal consequences. Have you guys heard about KFC? You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken? Well, what about OFC? Or should I say, Obama Fried Chicken? OFC was established by 3 college students in Beijing, China. The logo features Barack Obama mashed together with Colonel Sanders and is clearly a ripoff of KFC. KFC obviously didn't like this, as a spokesperson for the company found it to be distasteful, plays to racial stereotypes, and offensive to the US as well, as they were mocking the country's leader at the time. Because of this, the spokesperson explained that KFC was considering legal action and infringes KFC's brand trademark. Due to mainstream attention and many requests for interviews from domestic and foreign reporters, the 3 college students temporarily closed the restaurant. Now at this point, you would think that they wouldn't even change the logo or even open up the shop at this point. But surprisingly, they made an adjustment. Well, sorta. In response to the backlash, the students removed the OFC letters from the signboard, but left out the Chinese symbols for the word Public Bathhouse from the previous sign. Not only that, but they left the face on the logo. Just a couple days later, when the business reopened, the students rebranded to UFO, in which they stated that their little shop was an unidentified object. Despite the business receiving some positive attention in Beijing, the boys made the decision to shut it down completely a few days after its reopening. In the end, when the students were interviewed for their involvement with the restaurant, Zhu Boli, one of the 3 students, explained that there was no bad intent with the logo, adding on that he believed Obama has a great smile, looks kind, and he even admitted that he worshipped Obama too much. So when he was drawing the logo, he wanted it to be as realistic as possible. With those things in consideration, he was hoping that the presence of the logo would bring in good fortune for his small shop. Unfortunately for them, their dreams of having a successful business fell short, and after the store was shut down, they tore the sign and set it on fire due to how much troubles it had caused them. Mario has gotta be one of the most bootleg characters of all time, with even the game series having a ton of bootlegs as well. But that's for another topic. In this section, we'll be taking a look at this Mario statue that also happens to resemble a koala. In mid-2015, the picture garnered attention after appearing numerous times on multiple platforms for its cursed and strange appearance. But due to its large attention, the origins of Koala Mario were quickly identified to be an art piece created by artists Kate Clark and Bernadette Wallace for the Currumbin Wildlife Hospital Foundation in Gold Coast, Australia. Many other koalas were created for this fundraiser, with the main purpose to raise money for the hospital and to bring attention to koala conservation. Not only that, but this specific koala has been moved from various places, with some people capturing its new locations. Okay, so for this part of the video, I'm going to be adding something new in this series. Created numerous videos in the past talking about some of the origins of the internet's most unsettling images. A majority of the time, the images can be found through a simple Google search, while others require a bit more effort. But there are some that I genuinely want to find, but I can't. So with that out of the way, I'll be dedicating a small portion towards the end of the video talking about 1 or 2 images that have obscure origins. And who knows, maybe some of you guys watching could help me with this. I'll be leaving my Discord information down below if you guys want to help me with the search. And even if there are some images that you guys have been trying to find but haven't been able to, You can also join the server as well and I can help you with it. Or at least try to. Now with that being said, I will gather as much information about each image that I can find and any potential leads will be discussed. Let me know what you guys think about this idea and whether or not I should continue on with it. But now without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into it. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen this image too many times on the internet and I finally decided to find out more about it after all these years. Or at least I attempted to find as much as I possibly could. There's no official known name for this image, so I'm just gonna call it the Winnie the Pooh gathering. From what I discovered, this picture was taken in Kazimierz Dolny, Poland. It was initially believed that this was some sort of a yearly convention or event that occurs, but these were just subtle claims I found in old forums discussing the image. There's no real evidence proving that this was an event, so that suggestion is out of the way for now. Others have claimed that this is just the work of Photoshop, as it was explained that there's only one person wearing a Winnie the Pooh costume, and that the person just edited it to make it seem like there's an entire group of them. It's also been noted that absolutely no one in the image is even paying attention to them, despite there being a huge crowd. That's all I have regarding this image, but as I mentioned before, if there's anyone out there watching who has literally any information, feel free to let me know in the comments, and if you're interested, you could also join the server to let me know more about it. Okay, so I've actually wanted to talk about this image in my other previous videos, but I really never did a ton of research into it, mainly because there was no true answers to its origin, but as of today I got a potential answer. This is a bouncy castle in a graveyard. Okay, so this might seem a little strange and disrespectful in a way, since cemeteries are a place to mourn the deaths of loved ones and not for celebration. That was my original thought. However, learning about why some people put like bouncy castles and other forms of attractions in cemeteries, I definitely had a change of perspective. So a while ago, it was common for people to casually hang out at cemeteries, have picnics, and have some form of a celebration. This wasn't seen as inconsiderate either, as in some cultures and countries, this is actually considered normal. It's only been looked down upon as of recently, but many cultures have the mindset of going to cemeteries to celebrate life instead of death. Now going back to the original image, it was questioned why it was needed. Why was that bouncy castle there? There could be many reasons. For one, it could be a child's funeral. They could set up a bouncy castle, for example, as a small party for the kid. Maybe a kid died and the parents allowed their friends to play with them one last time. Or possibly a parent died and the other family members set this up for the kids to play with them one last time. Also, people go to cemeteries all the time to celebrate a loved one's birthday. So in this case, if it was the death of a child, the family members may have set up the bouncy castle to celebrate the young one's life. At the end of the day, who knows? But one thing that should be considered is that people cope with death differently than others, so it doesn't make sense to judge them on how they deal with it. Regarding the image itself, there's no real verified location. However, a ton of Reddit comments were made that stated that the photo of the cemetery was likely taken at the Riverside Cemetery in Riverside, California, near Mount Robidoux. The comparisons shown are similar, and according to the comments, a yearly 4th of July fireworks show and other fun events are commonly held there, so having attractions isn't necessarily uncommon. However, with all that being said, unless I'm proven otherwise, the exact location is still a mystery. If any of you watching have an idea, once again, let me know in the comments, or you can even join the server. Alright, if you made it to this point of the video, I just want to thank you so much for staying and for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the new addition to this series. It's just something that came out of nowhere while I was working on a script. And, you know, if it doesn't work, it's totally fine, but it would be awesome if it did. As always, I hope you guys are taking care of yourself both mentally and physically. But yeah, it's gonna be a short outro. I know, I'm sorry, but as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you watching have a great rest of your day. But before you leave, don't leave yet. I just want to let you know I truly mean that. I truly hope you, yes you, the person I'm pointing to at right now, have a great rest of your day. Alright, I'm actually gonna go now, but I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye for now.